Hi, I'm Don Michael Paul, and I assume I sound like this. You may remember me from such quote-unquote movies as Jarhead 2, Field of Fire, Lake Placid, The Final Chapter, Jarhead, Lore of Return, The Scorpion King, Book of Souls, Sniper, Ghost Shooter, Death Race 4, Beyond Anarchy, Sniper, Legacy, Taken, The Search for Sophie Parker, and Who's Your Caddy? Or you may not remember. Let's face it, probably not. Put the mac and cheese on the stove and let's get this playdate started. It's the Kindergarten Cup 2 watch along.
Oh, fantastic. You left a few out there.
Was that
on purpose?
What I excluded movies that we've done on the podcast. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done no fewer than 3, maybe 4. 3?
It's 3, yes.
3 of the Tremors movies.
Right. Yeah.
The last 3, I think, right? 5, 6, 7?
Yeah, the last 3.
Oh, I know all about Don Michael Paul, sir. I know about the professional sequel director.
Right. He is the Hitchcock of video sequels, as we have speculated before. Right?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Tom, as you know, I don't do any work for these.
Right.
A lot of times you don't.
And
even
I do
tell
too
me,
much, so it balances out.
A lot of times you don't even tell me what we're watching till this moment.
Well, I living at the mercy of streaming services, so I don't confirm until I'm absolutely sure that that people are going to be able to stream it. If not for free, then on a service that they can, if they really want to watch it, they can sign up for a free trial or something,
and then get rid of it.
Yeah. Get rid of it after you've watched Kindergarten Cop 2, like everyone does,
Right.
Like any normal human being. So,
and you're a professional, and I'm making it a blockbuster night.
There we go. Well, this is, Blockbuster technically still exists in 2016, but we're pushing it down to its dying embers, shall we say? But yes,
how many people do you think that are listening to this had no idea that there was a Kindergarten Cop 2?
I would say the majority. It would be a surprise to the majority of people.
It's shocking, right?
Well, we should say straight off. I mean, we've hinted at it, but we should say this is a direct-to-video sequel. Yeah. Like
we discovered it when doing Tremors.
We did, yeah.
And I'm sure we let people know at the time, hey, there's a Kindergarten Cop 2.
Well, I couldn't. There was a series of, when we looked at Don Michael Paul's resume, there was a series of titles that none of which I could imagine what is actually in the film.
Right.
But I got to say, Kindergarten Cop 2 is the thin end of that wedge, whereas Jarhead Lore of Return, I mean, I don't know where that story had nowhere to go as far as I was concerned.
How did an Oscar bait movie?
Right, exactly.
Did it get nominated? If it got nominated,
but it was directed by Sam Mendes.
It's a Sam Mendes movie, right? And it's supposed to be this huge kind of, not coming out, but like, hey, this is what I'm doing after American Beauty, and maybe Road to Perdition was first, but it was like, now watch this, and everyone's like, we're not interested. We're not nominating you for anything.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, this sort of,
and then Don Michael Paul turns up at your door.
Yeah,
says,
exactly.
Hey, you want to make some money, kid?
This prestige movie that was supposed to be nominated for Oscars suddenly turns into low rent action.
Well, that's it. I mean, nothing is sacred as far as video sequels.
You, sir, by the way.
Cheers. I have nothing. I have my Twix. I'm gonna attempt to mention Twix as much as this movie mentions Twix. Okay, and I've set myself a high bar already.
I got the
a high bar, if you will.
You're at 1.
Didn't even know I was doing it.
I'm not counting the high bar as a as a Twix.
No, that was
as
just a straight up pun.
Just a straight pun.
It wouldn't work as a piece of advertising if I just said the high bar. They'd be like, yeah, which bar? There's a lot of them on the market. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are all the titles that I've read out, and the Tremors movies are movies that people generally don't know exist.
Yeah.
It's safe to say, to the point where, as you reported to me, in the obituary for Fred Ward, who sadly died a few days ago.
Oh, makes me very sad.
They incorrectly identified how many Tremors sequels there were.
I know. Can you believe that?
First of all, I don't know if you need that information in Fred Ward's obituary, given that he was in 2 of those movies.
Right.
And then left the series.
He was done after number 2.
But I mean, come on. You don't do one more check, like double check. Right. Go on a different website. That's all you have to do, and you'll find it.
And as you pointed out to me, not that this has anything to do with Kindergarten Cop 2, but that same article seemed to diminish the amount of charisma that
as I said, I have never read an obituary where of an actor where their charisma was questioned. I mean, we all know the rules, right? They're total fluff pieces. You don't say a bad thing, even if
they say nice things.
Yeah, even if they later turn out to be a pedophile serial killer. You always, which they often do. Yeah. You only say nice things. But it's really weird because I looked at, and again, this is we'll get to kindergarten. You'll get to the meat of this soon. We're just
stalling.
We'll get to the meat and corn of this soon, and you'll soon know what that means. I'm just listing a lot of things we see a lot of in the movie. Meat and corn, Twixes.
I understand.
But that seems to be like an acceptable way of talking about Fred Ward. And I feel bad that, on this podcast, we've only really seen the worst of Fred Ward, because we didn't have very nice things to say about his performance in Tremors 2. But I would say
I just realized I have to make Chew watch Remo Williams.
Yeah.
That'll be a good time.
But so I feel guilty. I feel like I'm part of the problem, because but let me just say, it's not okay to shit on Fred Ward.
Right. Stop
unless you're talking about a specific performance where he
not even when he was alive.
Right. But I mean, it's like everyone has been collectively waiting to air their grievances about Fred Ward. Like, no, this guy was a great actor. Let's keep his obituaries glowing. But
that leaves us with Kindergarten Kindergarten Cop 2,
which is not the top of Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah.
So just to sort of recap the criteria for doing these watch-alongs.
Of course.
We pick sequels that are difficult to categorize.
Mm-hmm.
This is a prime candidate because it is essentially a remake of the concept of the story of Kindergarten Cop. That's the easiest I can describe it. It has no continuing elements, characters, or actors. In fact, probably the best way to describe this Kindergarten Cop.
No Penelope Ann?
Nothing. The best way to describe this, I would say, is it's a standalone entry in an anthology series themed around agents of the law who have to go undercover in kindergarten classes. That is as specific as I can be about what this film is as a sequel.
That's amazing.
It's Kindergarten Cop 2, a Kindergarten Cop story, is what it is.
Oh man.
So
I'm excited.
Bear all that in mind. We released these on the date that they were released, May 17th. It's a video release. Who the fuck cares? There's no story there. They drop it whenever they want. There's no advantage either way. There's no dump month in direct to video.
It doesn't have to necessarily be a Friday.
Right. You drop it whenever it came back finished, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
2:30 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Probably is when Kindergarten Cop 2 came out.
And this is 2016, so it's all digitalized. So presumably someone just gets it in their inbox at like 2:30 in the morning, like, oh, probably even the guy who's distributing it is like, oh, there's a Kindergarten Cop 2 now, as of now. As of me logging on. But the third and final criteria is that these are movies that people find difficult to watch, and that's why we're here to sort of
I wouldn't know,
to talk over it.
Yes, right.
We assume it's a better viewing experience with you and I talking about and over the movie. And some of the reasons that people might feel that way, and we're not prejudging. We never prejudge until we've seen. I mean, I've seen it, but Mike hasn't. No. We've got a surrogate lead actor,
of course.
You wanted Arnie,
but one we all know.
One we all know, and I'm going to say high standard of surrogates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
We're both fans of Dolph Lundgren, but he's decidedly not Arnie, and that's the point. That doesn't fall on him, but we know, we know in the back of our minds that it's not quite a step down, but it's also not quite what we want. Obviously, the direct-to-video production value is off-putting for a lot of people, but we also know Don Michael Paul does a pretty good job of marshalling that into a decent-looking movie. So this movie at least has a chance of transcending those limitations.
I feel like we were saying he should have some sort of award for Shrieker Island, at least.
Yeah,
I'd
like to say he does as a good job as he did with the Tremors movies of making this not look like a video production, but I suspect that's probably not the case. No, probably not the case. There are some telltale signs, and see if you come up with the same examples as I do as we watch.
All right.
It also doesn't help that we're essentially working over the same idea from the first movie. I mean, there's no forward momentum of the storyline here. It is simply we're doing the same thing again.
Like literally a mom and a son?
No, I mean we're taking it's Kindergarten Cop. It's kindergarten.
By that I meant the bad guys, by the way.
Okay. No, so you think so this is kindergarten FBI agent, but essentially, the fact that we're putting a cop into a kindergarten class. We're just doing it again.
Nobody refers, by the way, I take umbrage. Nobody refers to the FBI as cops.
No, and there's also
this should be kindergarten agent.
I have a theory about why it's an FBI agent and not a cop, but in the movie there is no discernible difference.
This should be kindergarten special agent. Right.
There's no discernible difference between a police officer and an FBI agent in the frame of the movie.
In this movie, right.
But I do have a working theory as to why they went with FBI agent this time. And it involves Arnie.
Now, from what I understand, because I remember way back when we, were doing the Shrieker Islands of the world and seeing that there was a Kindergarten Cop 2.
Yeah.
I remember looking at IMDb and finding out that I think I have this right, that they wanted Arnold to make an appearance and he just didn't because the schedules didn't work out.
Well, I would go even further than that. According to my research, when Kindergarten Cop 2 was announced in 2015, Schwarzenegger made a statement which effectively said he wasn't going to be involved in it, but he did it in such a way as to disavow what came afterwards.
Oh, wow.
So he said that his character from Kindergarten Cop had retired from undercover work. So he's saying he's not doing Kindergarten Cop 2, and whatever they do in Kindergarten Cop 2 is completely delegitimized. It's not real. When we did For Your Eyes Only, we talked about how you you kill off Blofeld, even though you can't call him Blofeld.
Yeah, right.
And suddenly, whenever Blofeld is used, it doesn't seem like the real thing. This, I think, Arnie, knowing that he'd done stuff like this before with Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, pretending he was interested just so Stallone would
do it.
This seems to me like he's pulling the same shit here.
That's funny.
He's basically he's making it harder for people to accept Dolph Lundgren as you know, as the lead of the movie, as a legitimate lead in the movie.
That's strange, though, considering, I mean, Dolph Lundgren is a legitimate sort of action.
Yeah, it's
star. They probably at least had scenes together in at least one Expendables movie. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if they ever shared the screen, but of course, as you informed me, he trained Arnie trained Dolph Lundgren for Rocky IV.
Right.
So this is sort of like, it's the student becomes the master.
There's got to be some kind of camaraderie there. So it's strange that he's made these choices.
Right, but yeah. Maybe it was more of a fuck you to the production. I don't even know. I think that might have actually forced their hand to make it an FBI agent rather than a cop, because they might have even wanted it to be the same character, just played by a different person. But this is an entirely different character, played by an actor that has crossover with Arnie in terms of persona.
And I remember seeing the poster. There's Bill Bellamy, right?
Yes.
Is he the Pamela Reed surrogate?
That, and he's sort of doing a little.
Does he get food poisoning?
No, no. Nobody eats anything in this movie apart from Twixes, and there's no food poisoning where Twixes are concerned. You think that's on the nose? Wait till you see the movie. So also the other drawback here that is going to put a lot of people off is the 26-year gap between this and the original movie, which cannot be.
I had not considered that literally until you said it.
This is the second time that the timeline of Kindergarten Cop has surprised one of us on this podcast, because I was surprised that Terminator 2 was post Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah,
and now you're confused. You know, you're surprised that Kindergarten Cop 2 is 26 years after the original Kindergarten.
And I'm
Cop.
starting to gather that when we watch this, those of us that haven't seen it are going to be shocked that this is a movie that's just over 5 years old. Is that
politically? Yes, I'd say that.
Okay. Because this is right around Me Too, right?
Well, this is it. It feels like the last movie made before
literally
Me
the
Too.
Last one before.
It feels like
watched this movie and then they said, we really got to do something about it.
Well, or the alternative is like, Me Too's coming. It's time to get out all the the pent up prejudice we have just has to come out in this one direct to video feature that we're about to do. So that's obviously, so those are all the reasons why one might find this hard to watch.
That's great.
But
I'll mention for our listeners, by the way, that we're going to be watching this on the Starz network.
Right.
So get ready.
Absolutely. We've talked about returning, we have a director we've already talked about on the podcast, and an actor. It's interesting. I mean, we did a very early Dolph Lundgren performance. Mm-hmm. This is relatively recent. I mean, his
first one, really. Yeah, right?
Yeah. And this is relatively recent, when in my head, he was doing better work than this, right? Mm-hmm. That's my first thought when I watch this movie, when I watch it now, is that I remember watching him in the Expendables and thinking how much he'd grown as a performer.
Yeah.
And how essential he was to that movie. Then Creed 2 comes along a few years later, and you realize it wasn't a fluke. Like, this guy's got something different now. That actually, not that what he had before wasn't great, but he's grown into something else. But however, there's no evidence of that in this movie.
Really? So is this more Showdown in Little Tokyo?
If I knew what that was, I would probably agree with you. It sounds like a cross between Big Trouble in Little China and that movie Showtime with
yeah, it's just a silly movie. It's with Brandon Lee. It was this vehicle, it's like Brandon Lee's coming off The Crow. You've got Dolph Lundgren. I think they were hoping for something.
Who died on The Crow?
Oh, wait.
I don't think Brandon Lee was coming off The Crow.
Well, didn't I say before? Or did I say after?
You said Brandon Lee was coming off The Crow.
Oh, then no.
Yeah, that I was just trying to.
God damn it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. I didn't. I felt like that I needed to intervene.
You're right.
Because I'm pretty sure he wasn't acting with a corpse.
He didn't come off The Crow. Fuck. Oh.
Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
I'd like to apologize to the estate of Brandon Lee.
Yet another cursed film.
Yeah.
So one of the things that fascinates me about this, and I guess the original Kindergarten Cop as well, I'm not exempting this from the dilemma. Movies like these have very unclear target audiences. This is a PG-13 movie about kindergartners.
Right.
Who's this movie for?
Yeah.
I mean, is it for children or adults? And
because I remember when
is it a piece of action cinema, or is it a friendly comedy? And
right.
I don't remember much about Kindergarten Cop, but I feel like there's a lot of code switching that goes on in this movie.
Yeah, because what I remember was people were kind of surprised by how violent the beginning of that movie is.
Same here. They repeat the same trick here.
Really?
Yeah. There's a kind of no, I won't. I'll say that I think slapstick is kind of introduced gradually into this movie.
Okay.
Like in the violence sort of starts to turn slapstick as the movie goes on.
Like Lethal Weapon 2 style?
You might be giving it too much credit there, but
okay.
It's at some point it goes full on clown
silly
car, full on clown car. But when it starts off, it seems legitimately like neo noir, which is kind of fascinating. This is what I mean. Like, I don't know who these movies are for.
Yeah,
and I don't think the movies themselves know quite who they're for.
The funny thing about the first Kindergarten Cop is, and maybe this is just because we're starting to get Arnold at the height of his powers for that movie.
Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean by the height of his powers? What powers are we talking about?
We're only
not comedy.
No, but we're only a year removed from Terminator 2. I mean, like, he's in the like, he's reaching the pinnacle of his stardom.
Okay, got it.
And as strange as some of that movie is in the terms of how much does the violence grain against the fact that I think it's part of the in-joke in the movie. Yeah. I think that movie actually balances it fairly well, and maybe that's just Ivan Reitman, but
well, you'll be in for a rude surprise. I think there's legitimately points in this movie where you could be watching two different films, scene to scene. So I don't think they've worked on that harmony very well here. So yeah, that's something that strikes me. Also, the video qualities of this, and I'm not just talking about production values. I'm kind of talking about the fact that it often seems like a TV commercial or a reality show. There's a little bit of after school special sprinkled in there. Bill Bellamy's doing a kind of stand-up act that has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. But yeah, obviously it's filmed in Canada. It's a given. But beyond that, something about the locations feels very video. And the shooting style there's something specific going on here, which I don't think you can call cinema. And yeah, we didn't see any of that in Tremors. I don't know.
I was just gonna say, because we both kind of marveled at how cinematic Shrieker Island was. But granted, that's just a couple of years ago, and so that movie would have been 4 years after this, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
At least, yeah. But
those other two sequels have got to be pretty close to this, and they don't have the cinematic style that Shrieker Island has, but they don't look inept either.
Right. I'm not talking. I don't say inept. It's more characteristic, I would say, of you definitely wouldn't confuse it with cinema. Yeah, is what I'm saying. Right. And I don't mean that necessarily in a pejorative way. It's just, I could go back to
what happened.
Right. I go back to the great podcast Star Trek: The Next Conversation, and Matt Meyer is always talking about how everything has to be in 4:3. So everyone has to get into that 4:3 frame.
Yeah.
And this and it's not the same, not exactly the same.
Bunch in, everyone. Bunch
but
in.
I'm feeling this is not a cruel Jaws bunching in, but there's bunching.
Yeah.
It's like that's very close to be to that man's face. I'm also, but the other thing that fascinates me, we have this huge gap in time between the movies,
right? Sure.
And we talked when we did Bill and Ted Face the Music about how it's difficult to do that when you're in a genre where the rules have changed significantly over that gap. And here it's interesting because this is essentially a police procedural, although they're FBI agents. But that doesn't really matter. It's a police procedural, which is not something that has changed really in the past 30 years that much. I mean, we're still on Law and Order time when it comes to, or CSI, we're still using those tropes and conventions. You'll see all of those here. But what they kind of focus on here as the difference between doing this movie in 2016 and doing it in 1990 is that education and how we raise children has changed. So this movie makes a huge deal out of the cultural perspective on education. And if that sounds lofty, it's not explored in lofty ways, but that's what's going on here. They're basically saying that you can't make, like, you can make a cop movie, you can do the same story, but the kids are going to be different, the teachers are going to be different, and the way the cop plays into both is going to be different. Yeah. That's what the novelty of this is.
All right.
I'm making it sound more interesting than it is, but you'll definitely see that there.
Okay. I'm excited.
So that, these are all my warnings, and
these are my thoughts and my feelings.
Yes. This is how I think you got it. You frame the movie like from the benefit of seeing it yesterday. If you frame it in this way, you'll have an interesting perspective on it, I think.
All right.
Rather than this just.
Well, that's it. I mean, I'm ready to get started. Are you?
Yeah, we should. This movie is longer than you think it's going to be.
Offensively.
It is 1 hour 40 minutes, which
I wanted this at 1 hour 25.
I'm really glad
accepted 90.
I'm really glad that Starz. This is minutia, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm really glad that Starz doesn't employ what HBO Max has started doing, where they only show you how much is left in the movie.
Right.
Because that's soul crushing sometimes. When that's all you know, you don't know how much, you don't know how far you've got, you only know how much is left. Because every time you look at that figure, you can't rationalize it. You're like, how can there be an hour left? How can there be 20
The
minutes left?
story appears to be over.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm glad Starz doesn't employ the method, because you would kind of be depressed.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are on Starz.
Yes.
We are watching Kindergarten Cop 2. You ready, Tom?
Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm ready to click play.
Here we
We're
go.
on the for everyone at home.
Yeah.
We're on the PG-13 rating. So if you've got any ads, just skip to that point, and you'll be ready. You'll be in sync with us.
We'll give them another 10 seconds, perhaps, just to.
Thanks for covering it with that beautiful piece of music. It would have felt like years if you had put in those 2 seconds of mental jamming.
All right, here we go. Kindergarten Cop 2 in 3, 2, 1.
Nope.
Universal.
Oh, hang on. Well, I'm not moving forward. That's disturbing.
What's that?
I'm not moving forward.
Should I pause? I paused. Oh, imagine.
Yeah, Ron Howard's got his fingerprints all over this.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I mean, it's not Orion, but. Oh, I already have concerns.
We're in seeing the first woman in the movie as a hooker.
Yeah.
We're in a seedy motel. And
but the music seems to suggest that this is a comedy.
Or a neo-noir comedy.
Well, a combination of the two.
Yeah. My first thoughts are that that's an awfully big man.
Yeah.
But his English has improved significantly.
Mm-hmm. What the hell? He doesn't look like a special agent of the FBI.
Something about his size and Europeanness suggests to me he's not with the FBI. Here's another big man. I mean, he's no Arnie. Is that what that line's there for? Kind of.
That's the code word.
Oh, you'll find out. It's kind of funny because he's supposed to be physically he looks like Arnie. When he does comedy, he looks like Stallone. Talk about kindergarten. They spelled out that joke as if the target audience was a class of kindergartners. I'm the comedy guy of the movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep saying comedy things. It did look like Dolph Lundgren looked off screen for a cue card there. I don't want to shit on
I had a different thought. I had a thought of it, a look of don't do funny stuff. I thought he was giving Bill Bellamy a look.
Okay. Yep. There's people criticizing the dialogue of their own movie.
Wow. Yep. I was just gonna say.
And we're what, minute 2?
Pineapple? Pretty stupid. Pineapple?
This is one of the first telltale signs of video. Like a lot of people in a very small room, all shot in close up.
Yeah.
That kind of bunching.
It's outside
the movie hasn't even
stopped gym.
We haven't even started yet, and already Dolph Lundgren is in a montage. And it's an iron pumping montage.
Yeah.
Just to, I guess, remind us that both the Arnie is here and not here. Right? We've kind of got Arnie in that we have someone who pumps iron and looks a bit like him.
I mean, it's funny because, look, let's face like Dolph Lundgren is. I mean, how old is Dolph Lundgren?
Good question. He executive produced this movie.
He's got to be.
Oh, that's a lot of names on the screenplay.
He's got a. I mean, I think he's a senior
based
citizen,
on the film Kindergarten Cop. This is a remake. It just told me this is a remake.
He looks good for his age, but he also looks
his age.
Yeah, It looks like he's moving slow.
I'm also concerned about how much FBI headquarters in Seattle looks like a school.
No. 1 year later. Does that mean that entire scene was irrelevant? Oh no. Oh no.
Like I said, the last Me Too, the last pre-Me Too film. This is 2016. We shouldn't be following women's asses with the camera while we're talking about hookups and booty calls.
Yeah.
So this, as far as I can tell, this is why it's 1 year later, because the guy we saw, his case is up.
Mm-hmm.
But Twix!
There you go.
This could be your drinking game for the movie.
Yeah. Wow. Let me tell you something. If this is what really happened, this would be his last day in the FBI.
Yeah, there's no hint of like light comedy yet.
Right. And nothing about this place looks FBI.
Yeah. I was gonna say probably the better question to be asked is, it was a Grey Poupon joke.
Wow.
In 2016. They're still using the script from the original movie, it seems.
Let me tell you what the FBI doesn't let you do.
What?
Wear a shirt without a tie. Or an orange shirt, for that
But
matter.
he's undercover. He looks even more like a...
Not right now, he's not.
But he'd look even more like a large European man if he had a shirt and a tie on. As you'll see later in the movie, where he wears a shirt and a tie for about half the movie. Yeah, he's right to laugh. Uh-oh.
Ooh, oh no.
Glad we cleared that up. It would have been.
They're letting us know just how serious it is.
It would have bothered me for the rest of the movie if I didn't know they were on the same. They were on a separate system from the city. This is a movie for kids.
About kids, or at least with kids.
Well, there's no kids for a while.
No?
And this scene is just could have been from any, NC-17 movie. It's a pretty legit gunfight for a light-hearted family adventure.
Let me tell you what's difficult: gaining access to an FBI building.
Well, not if it's,
not this FBI building.
No. As we know,
a real FBI building.
As we know, they've doubled up they've doubled up the school and the FBI headquarters. Yeah. So, but I would say a school shouldn't even be this easy to break into either.
I love we're getting this hard rock music too. Oh, maybe he'll get his Twix bar now.
I love how so he's using the vending machine again. So far, this movie's had 2 jokes, and both of them have had instant callbacks. Most comedy follows the rule of 3. This is the rule of 50.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't fool me.
Also known as advertising.
Yeah.
Especially when you hold it so close to the screen in an otherwise dark room where it seems to have its own spotlight on it.
Karma.
The only thing that's lit in that scene is the Twix bar.
Did the chief just put gum behind his ear?
Yeah. He does other disgusting things. I don't know if this guy is someone who we're supposed to know. But he plays the role as if this is an established persona. But I don't know who he is, so I don't know why he's funny. I give you the MacGuffin of this movie.
Wow. Well, I was just going to say, is this going to be the MacGuffin?
The state of modern education, eh?
Wow.
Do you think they said to the composer, What's something like Get Shorty, but not quite as good? Like, don't strain yourself.
Just make sure you have a stinger when he says, "Get me that list."
More objectification of women's bodies.
Yep. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I like how they need to suggest like a rich mobster lifestyle. It's 4 women in bikinis in a tiny swimming pool in a Canadian
Right now,
Airbnb.
I just see 3.
How many times have we heard the name Katya so far, do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think she appears in the rest of this movie?
Really? Never to be seen?
Nope.
Wow.
That first shot, she's the first shot of the movie. She's mentioned about 80 times throughout the movie. Never see her again.
That's amazing. Really? Oh, Jesus.
See, we don't need kindergartners to do toilet humor.
The adults will be doing it.
Yeah. This would have been a better movie if they just skipped the bit with the kids in the school. They could do everything. They could achieve everything they wanted to with the adults.
Yeah.
Make it a more interesting sequel as well.
Shadow organizations.
Yeah, that goes nowhere. That line he just said, that where he was talking for like a whole minute, that doesn't go anywhere. You could run a snow plow through that pause, couldn't you?
Right.
That's the kind of pause that makes you wonder whether they forgot their lines. Doesn't this feel like an 80s? Doesn't this feel like an 80s mattress? I know.
Mattress.
Doesn't this feel like a movie that the screenplay was written in the 80s?
What's that now? Sorry.
Doesn't this seem like a screenplay that was written in the 80s?
Yeah, very much. Really?
So
no, there's just no parents in the room. There's no representation for the children.
No, it's kids say the funniest things, but the PG-13 version. Yeah. Subtitling a perfectly coherent Asian child for no other reason than racism and letting us know his accent's supposed to be funny.
He talks better than I do.
I tested it too when I watched this before. I closed my eyes every time that kid was on screen. I understood everything. Sometimes I was tempted to keep my eyes closed.
Yeah.
There we go. As late as 2016, we're mining comedy from same-sex marriage in movies. No punchline there.
No, I was gonna say.
Movie's over. Great. Let's all go home. What do you think it's going to be? What does she think a flash drive is?
See, so that's what I was trying to figure out. Like,
it's weak. I'll give you a clue. It's weak.
Flashlight. Nice.
You, sir, have the mind of a shitty screenwriter.
Yes. I think we do that.
Well played. Not for the last 26 years.
Yeah. I need him to stop doing that.
So it's not gum, is it? He's putting saliva behind his ear, or is he doing it with gum? Is it gum?
It looks like gum.
But there's no gum. There's nothing. It's mime. He's nothing on his hand. This is the kind of movie where he comes up with that shtick for himself, but no one's willing to fork out for the gum, so he just has to mime it.
Well,
so
I knew that line was coming. Little people.
Remind me, isn't Arnie in the original movie reluctant about the assignment?
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to be the person.
So this is a sequel inversion because Dolph is volunteering for the.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to do it. No one else wants him to do it.
Well, it's the same dilemma, just delivered in a different way.
Right.
So in the first movie, it's by happenstance because she gets food poisoning. Pamela Reed gets food poisoning, and she actually had some sort of history in a classroom or something like that. So Arnold just steps in. And this one, I take it the children have already seen Bill Bellamy.
Yes.
So we need Dolph.
But my point remains, where's the dramatic interest?
Yes, you're not wrong.
Because he wants to be there? Just he looks at women like pieces of meat.
I was gonna say
every time a woman is on screen, he's looking at him like a piece of meat. 2016.
Down to the tits, up to the face.
This movie is the reason Me Too had to happen. This was the final straw. So you see these very broad attempts at satire of.
He's like, same. I'm 60. She's a lovely swine.
So they're clearly poking fun at, I guess, what we would call wokeness today.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't have that word then.
Right.
So it just feels like conservatives are just like priming their mowers. Right?
Yeah. A dozen? This must be a nice school.
Oh, it's a private academy. Also, I think someone should write an article about shitty sequels in Seattle. That Venn diagram is pretty significant.
I take it you're thinking another Stakeout.
I feel like every time I'm watching a shitty sequel, it's Seattle is involved somehow. It's because they can get that shot of the Space Needle from Canada.
Yeah.
Education has changed. Everyone's happy now. Again, Where is the dramatic interest?
I shall return.
Okay. Well, I suppose I have to vamp. So yeah, lots of attacks on wokeness, non-binary, and diversity language. It's like a pre-backlash against progressive change. Kids are given a slow motion, cool music walking intro as we introduce the ensemble cast for the movie with just over an hour left. Oh, I was expecting Arnie. I would love it if my son went to a school like this where they cared about his emotional well-being. Yeah, this movie's telling me that this is not a good thing. Oof. Suppose this is another sequel inversion. The children are well behaved now. So the children aren't well behaved in the original movie, are they?
They are not.
Okay, so that's an inversion because these kids, oh, there was subtitling the Asian kid again.
Oh,
these
God.
But in this movie, the kids are well behaved
because it's a nice school.
So that conflict's been erased.
I was just gonna say
the only conflict that exists is between right and left.
Presumably, he would have looked that over before the day started.
Well, he's not putting any effort into the undercover part of his operation.
I'll say.
He basically came through the door and said, "Kids, have you seen this flash drive? Yes. Tell me now."
So, and the impression I just got was that if they had told him about the flash drive right then, he'd have walked out the damn door.
Yeah. It's about this point in the movie that I start to think this must be what watching those right-wing sketch comedy shows is like, right? This that right-wing, that Fox News version of the Daily Show. This must be what it's like.
Wow.
In tone. Except none of it makes sense because the kids have like gun-up parents. What gun nut parent is sending their kid to a woke school?
Right.
None of this makes sense.
It doesn't. It especially doesn't make sense comedically.
More to the point, where's the comedy in this?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure one of these is it. Oh, so what do you... we're moving on from the Twix. We got Skittles now.
My working theory is they're made by the same people who make Twixes. Yeah, they told me you were walking up and down the hallways talking about flash drives. Like a fucking weirdo. What? Everyone's a predator.
Oh,
everyone.
My God. By the way, isn't his name Reed? Yeah. So he's not even changing his name. He's just doing the James Bond thing in his undercover work.
Because that's what they expect me to do, is change my name. I double undercovered him. Also, I mean, you know, obviously the fact that every male in this movie is some kind of sexual predator is disconcerting. I'm also kind of weirded out when they ask this guy what he does. He says, like, I teach computers. It's like, it's an IT teacher, right? What are we not? Did big IT get involved and said you can't use the words IT? No one's. Oh, maybe they've never been. You
mean the letters?
They've never been in the school. Never been in a school. That they think I'm the guy who teaches computers and technology. That's not a job at school.
I like that we went straight from recess to lunch.
And yet this feels like the longest day a kindergartner has ever had.
Kids don't eat in their own classroom unless it's a rainy day.
Oh yeah, this is a good point. You can give us the insider rundown on whether this is an accurate representation of school life.
This is horseshit.
Are you sure you want to? Are you sure you want to decide now? Also, why do you have a microwave in the classroom?
Yeah, exactly. Also, are they? It looks like. Are they in a classroom? Or in the library?
No, this is as far as we know, this is their classroom, but it's also FBI headquarters. So
True.
We need one building that will service as both FBI headquarters and a school.
I'm not.
I'm sure there's an exercise DVD out there that will verify this.
No, you say no.
Oh, those woke schools trying to keep children alive. When will political correctness end? Trying to keep a child from dying of an allergy. Jesus Christ. I send my kid to a school where they have a peanut allergy. It's no big deal. Just don't bring peanuts in.
Yeah.
How hard is that?
I'll give this reaction to one student. The student that's allergic to peanuts. Oh, yes. Shake the child.
This also makes it hard to believe that he's worked for the FBI so long and he hasn't like gone through any kind of HR like equivalent of this.
Also, he doesn't know how to microwave.
Well, he forgot about it, to be fair.
No, you put it in for a certain amount of time, Tom. If you just do an indefinite amount of time, then yeah.
I'm not saying this movie knows how microwaves work. I'm saying of course they think you just press a button and it cooks for however long.
The same 3 ladies are at the pool, I see.
Mm-hmm. I swear there was a 4th somewhere.
What was this? The scene where he's like Steve Martin in Roxanne?
Oh, I was thinking My Blue Heaven. But I guess both work.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a small swimming pool. It's really not doing the job they think it is. How long is this fucking day?
Wow, they are really...
I'm really worried. My kid goes to kindergarten in July. I hope they're not going to keep him till like 5 p.m. every day. Just fucking
this movie every drive.
This movie is no more interesting than watching Dolph Lundgren check out flash drives. That is literally what's happening on screen. What's the best use of this giant European man who fights for a living?
His lead is, I'm going to check every flash drive that I found loosely put in a drawer.
That really shocked me when he said it was still his first day.
There's going to be peanuts in that thing.
You kids should loosen up and tell your parents to vote for Trump.
No, they're going to go nuts.
So they've made them badly behaved kids via the medium of sugar. Oh, God. I'm a fan of Dolph, but he's really floundering.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when he's trying to teach. He looks even less comfortable than the character should.
Yeah, right.
Which is a problem.
Try a quiet coyote sign, maybe.
There's I think Chew would be reeling at the amount of sped up motion here.
I think what's remarkable is, like, you know, in the first movie, the school knows that they're cops. They expected the woman, and Arnold has to do some double talk about, hey, it's going to be me.
By the way, Mike, how well do you remember Kindergarten Cop?
Well,
I mean, all of these early 90s movies you can recall like you saw them yesterday. It's amazing. I saw it in about 1995 and I remember Arnie at a urinal. That's all I remember. And I think that's just the poster. And you're going here, it's like, you know, in the original. But yeah, I mean it.
And here he's just straight up lying.
When you can't even reach the level of plausibility of Kindergarten Cop, you've got problems.
Yeah.
You deal with this woman. I am Drago.
I half expect him to say, I hate all of you, and close the door. Is this, has he given up? Oh, no. We don't give them cookies. Is that scene coming up?
Of course it's coming up. But
that's a
Olivia here
it's
is
not
gonna,
really a quiet coyote, but it's the same thing.
I imagine Big Coyote got in on that. You absolutely cannot mention IT or the coyote sign. Here's a Twix. Say this instead. While you were away on your mysterious sojourn, I commented that like we're introducing the kids with only like an hour left in the movie. Olivia is also ostensibly the lead of the movie, and again, we've just met her. The movie's halfway done, and yet we've said Katia about 50 times. A one-scene character.
Hey, listen. I was thinking maybe we'd have sex after this school day. You know she's a teacher because she's got a pencil in her hair.
Boy, I bet when she takes those glasses off, she's a knockout.
Yeah, right.
Because we all liberals are secretly wanting to hurt people.
She said that loud enough for the kids to hear.
It's like the sideshow Bob logic. It's like you long for the cold heart of a Republican.
Yeah,
that's what this movie feels. No, he literally means a flash drive. He spent nap time going through flash drives.
Mm-hmm.
I keep thinking of better movies that this could have been. Now I'm thinking it could have been a movie about a guy with a flash drive fetish, who ends up being moved from school to school.
Yeah.
To hide his secret. Finally, the day is over. It's 8 p.m.
So at the time of this movie, I'm looking right now, I believe that actor, Darla Taylor,
yeah,
she's like 30 years younger than Dolph Lundgren.
But he's got blonde hair.
True.
Which takes about 20 years off. I tell you, video is not helpful for hiding wrinkles because the camera is like here on your face. So you can see every fucking wrinkle.
Enemy? No, he's right about that.
Yeah, it did sound like he was debating the point that they were 6. I think that's inarguable. Whatever your perspective. Well, this tension came out of nowhere.
Well, wait, what? What's happening?
Did I miss a scene? We've seen no evidence of this.
Stop using the word enemies.
They're so different.
Make you a steak.
They're so different. Only one of them wants to heed the advice of children.
Yeah.
This is where I think this scene is where we start to see the slapstick creep into the.
All right.
Other one.
How many days are there going to be?
Well, it's an hour and 40 minutes. I mean, use your imagination.
So they're just threatening an FBI agent on school grounds.
No, he's not. No, I thought exactly the same thing. This is outside his house.
Wait, what?
That's his car. He's about to go to. That's outside his house.
This doesn't look near the river.
Oh, this is. I guess this is where he parks his car.
Okay.
I mean, you're right on all counts. I am not disputing what you're saying. I also don't know why that food truck is parked up in what.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I think that's his pretend house where he's supposed to flee from.
Is this his version of the police whistle from Arnold?
There you go. I'm really glad I have a man with a photographic memory for early 90s movies. It was those children's fault for crying.
I might use this again.
This air horn has 1 week left of retirement.
Where are they at? A architecture firm now? What the fuck?
They keep going to buildings that don't look like what they're supposed to be for. Told you this. The comedy works on the rule of 50. You think we're done? You think we're done with the therapy pig? Think again. And Twixes and flash drives.
What an abundance of chemistry between these two.
Also, notice how they're hardly ever in the same shot. I don't even think that they were.
They might not be in the same room. All right.
Okay, it doesn't matter that Michael Jackson's not singing it. It is still not acceptable to have a Jackson 5 song in a movie about kids.
Yeah, no.
Doesn't matter that Michael Jackson's not performing it. Now, like, I think of the gold standard of
This was amazing. They just did the subtitles for that child again, yet the character of Bill Bellamy, who's just listening, understands him perfectly.
Right. Yeah, because he's entirely coherent.
Because he's completely coherent.
Isn't it kind of strange how much they're focusing on this? The differences in raising children.
Yeah.
I suppose it's all they've got. That's the only original aspect of the movie.
But you're right in the sense of, you know, they're mining it for comedy in the sense of all these things we've learned about children is stupid.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the movie's telling us that. However, everything I'm listening to is like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'd be happy. I'd be happy to have my kid at a school like this.
I think he should have known that one himself. And that song still playing.
If it was Steven Seagal, he would have known. I keep trying to catch what the latest time is on the school schedule.
Yeah.
I swear it's like 4:30. I really hope my kid comes home before 4:30.
What day is this? 3?
2.
No, I think we're on 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw 3.
Okay.
But my point is, you don't become a good teacher on day 3.
You do if you've got like a Cyrano de Bergerac in your ear.
There you go. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. What you kids need is pseudo military history.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's missing in your snowflake world.
Luckily, I brought my army men.
Well, this belongs to the teacher of computers and technology.
Oh, I see.
Not the IT teacher, the teacher of computers and technology. Once again, he's subtitled and yet everyone understands him. Also, isn't it a bit rich to subtitle an entirely coherent child with an accent when Dolph Lundgren is the star of your movie? A man who has performed in English where he is barely intelligible. Part of me almost wishes this never gets called back. Of course it does. You know it's going to. But part of me wishes
respect that man enough to have sex with him.
Because there are certain strands in this movie that don't get called back. And I'd love it if the Trojan horse was also one of them.
Yeah.
Like, you know, at minute 100.
The kids are commenting on their sexual chemistry.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what's more insulting, the subtitling or the fact they do it in like fake kids writing.
Yeah. Like Comic Sans. Fuck.
I'm about. You may think I am implausible, but the real Zacharid is also a large European man.
Yeah.
That sort of undermines the subterfuge.
Does not seem right, but
here's Buttercup.
I honestly thought it would be a stuffed animal.
Oh, you thought it was like a toy pig?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that is the joke. I don't know. It's hard to tell. All I know is we see a lot of this slow-moving pig. Yeah, it's not enough to just say it. You have to see it as well.
Mm-hmm.
You have to like get comedy, the joke in all senses, like sight, sound, speech. First of all, why are there so many drawers in this school full of flash drives?
Yeah.
It also seems like this movie makes it seem like flash drive was the buzzword of 2016.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Like all anyone was doing was saying
the latest
flash drive
technology.
this and flash drive that. And what? They've been around by this point for a decade, maybe?
Oh, more.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, who's Jason? Was that the teacher?
That was the teacher.
Okay. So a teacher at the most prestigious school in the state was a bit of a con man.
He was a hacker con man. Yeah. We can say what we want about him because we're never going to see him. Hey, remember your undercover training.
Mm-hmm.
Go faster. Think faster. You're such a predator.
You know what's really amazing?
What?
She is acting so naturally against all of his crazy choices.
Right.
She's responding to them appropriately.
That's exactly that's really true. But you know what's also what I was really struck by was that Dolph Lundgren here is as out of depth with comedy as Arnie was in 1990, but in a totally different way.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a smugness about him doing comedy that's really off-putting. And that's why it reminds me of Stallone, you know, not all, you know, when Stallone is, it's that thing, you know, when actors know they're doing comedy, they put on like a comedy face, which is really smug. De Niro, I think, is the worst culprit of that.
Mm-hmm.
When he knows he's in a comedy, his entire face changes.
Yeah.
They're talking about a human being here. I called dibs on her.
Just so you know, man to man, even though she doesn't like me,
I'm the sexual predator at this school. Back off.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
One per school.
That's my job.
One. I'm not really a teacher of computers and technology. I made that up because it's really called an IT teacher. Needs a slow-moving pig in his life.
Wow.
Oh, this is the after-school special.
Are we going to beat up another dad who's beating their kid?
This is the after-school special part of the movie for sure.
Just so you know, that's probably enough to mandate his making a phone call.
We need the flash drive cut of this movie. Just like a, you know, just Dolph Lundgren trying flash drives. I reckon. What do you reckon? I reckon it's a good 20 minutes. It's a feature short.
Molly's been acting weird. I should probably beat that guy up. Even if the kid's intel is bogus. I'm just messing with you. I'm not going to pick her up and then have sex with her immediately.
It's impossible to tell what I mean because of my weird choices, but
Yeah.
I'm messing with you. He also
He honestly looked like he might have been inebriated during this last part.
Guess what's for dinner?
Oh, wow.
Well, guess what's for dinner again?
Wait, what? I mean, I would have said steak, but I hope it's Twix.
No, it's not Twix. No, he's cooking meat and corn for her again.
Nice.
Which feels like it's what he would be eating anyway.
He must have
right?
that style of shirt in every color.
I know.
I just thought you were going to try to have sex with me immediately.
Yeah. That's why I agreed to go on a date with you. Because that's what I secretly want, because that's what all women want.
Yeah.
Despite what they'll tell you. Let's put on this retro sounding blues track recorded by a 2016 band.
What's your favorite position?
Did you hear what he just said?
I went to law school.
Yeah. I'm having a hard time buying that this large European man works undercover for the FBI. Let's not add in law school.
Right.
Huh.
Oh, no, I'm a cop. Sorry, FBI agent.
I work for the Finnish Bureau of Investigation. I don't know where he's from, but somewhere around there.
Yeah, I thought he was a Swede, no?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Stockholm.
Mm. It's just layer upon layer of male predators. Now the henchmen are watching them on their date.
They're awfully close.
Well, it's a video production. You can't go that far away from from other people in the scene. Don Michael Paul's job is essentially to go a little closer, little closer, little closer, still more. What? This is the part of the date where I ask you about flash drives. What's so strange?
She always is acting so appropriately to everything he says. It's great.
I wish I was in that spy movie. Instead, I'm doing this. Stallone said I'd done my comeback movie.
No.
Oh no, that was all Twixes just meshed up.
I have a lot of sex.
That would have been a better answer than the real answer. And you're not going to be able to guess what keeps him in shape. Line dancing. Once again,
you know what's amazing is when he was yelling at the kids about why they should be selfish and did a little air punch. Yeah. It's the same air punch he did for the line dancing just now.
Well, he's nothing if not consistent.
That's great. There was.
I love how so they're taking this implausible idea of a large European man working for the FBI undercover, and they've added in that he went to law school.
Taking it to its extreme.
And he's a line dancer. We need reasons why he can be doing the job he's doing, not reasons why he couldn't.
Well, now they just keep bringing up more questions. I need to know about guys who play guitar with just their beer bottles.
Oh, I've done that. I've been in a band that did that. It's a perfectly acceptable slide alternative.
All right, then.
I was once in a band with someone who had he lost his slide and he smashed a beer bottle, ground down the sharp edges and just used it as a slide.
You know he's going to get on that mechanical bull.
No, it's her.
Wow.
Of course it's her.
She's going to get a concussion.
So the camera can get busy. Let's do some camera ogling.
The camera is seeming to say this is how she rides a bull. It's like how she has sex.
That's right. When in reality, of course, Dolph Lundgren would crush you to death in any sexual encounter. A woman that small. That's why it was believable that he was married to Bridget Nielsen, because you felt like she could fight back in a sexual situation. I feel like this woman's gonna like crumple underneath his body. Just bring my glass of European lager over here.
These Russians just keep showing up.
Do you think the movie knows it's weird that he keeps popping up everywhere? Or is this just the kind of movie where large European men turn up
everywhere,
country western bars? I mean, having one of those two guys here is implausible. Having
very
two of
nice
them...
meeting you.
I am old-time countryman.
Albanian. Know of him.
You know, part of me wants to look up whether Zogu is a real Albanian name, but I feel like I know the answer already.
Yeah, that's a waste of your time.
I feel like they were like, what's that bird called in The Lion King? Zazu. No, we can't do that. How about Zogu?
Zogu.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. I'm one of those slightly strong women who buckles every time any man tries to
No
defend
matter
them.
how misogynist you are, it's still kind of sexy.
I've seen this movie already, but for a second, I really thought he was going to say, I have to go back to my planet now. I really did think. I knew he wasn't because I've seen the movie. Back at FBI school.
That was a long ass day 3. Oh, well, he was at my house and at the bar I was at last night. So
you'd be better off using me as an informant at this stage.
Yeah.
Where did they find this guy? Is he a carnival barker or something? He's got like big town crier energy. Because if you do that, the case will never go to court.
Right.
Or it'll automatically be a mistrial. Just saying. I really think, looking at it now, that is the same building as the FBI headquarters.
Say it again.
I really think that the school. I'll wait for the taser and the nuts to be done.
Got him in the balls. That's what this movie counts as comedy.
Yeah, the slapstick arc is finally completed.
No, he's smelling burnt balls. Oh, he's really doing some work on those trees.
With his tie and shirt are visible in his workman's clothes. Man, that is one tiny swimming pool. How did those 3 women even get in there? Yep, got to take a pit. I'm just going to carry on doing my stand-up acts up here in the crane. You missed it, but this is the second slow-moving, cool walking intro of these kids.
Is that right?
Yeah. They don't know what to do with them. Also, where have these kids been for the past 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Time to apply that knowledge of Greek mythology I taught you.
Mm-hmm.
What, more meat and corn that you cooked? I think anyone should be paying for that.
And to be clear, that's what we're gonna have. I just want you to reimburse me for it.
I have a basement full of steaks, and I live next to a cornfield. Would you be able to identify any of these kids in a lineup? Do you think?
No.
No.
Smash them.
So basically, he's ruined the emotional growth of these kids at a crucial stage in their development.
Of course. Oh, this storyline is coming back.
I broke through your civil liberties to get the information. Here we go. There's more hitherto unheard of backstory.
In Sweden.
However, that job was not teacher. I am an FBI agent. I'm lying to all your children.
Oh, no, not for you.
Not for you, you monster. No, I am not very bright. It was my poor command of English. Yeah. This is a supposedly woke school having a bachelor auction.
Yeah. Luckily, he's got a new color on his 3 button-down shirt.
No one's, you're right. He's got one in every color. It's hard to imagine such a woke principal wouldn't like notice the slave undertones of such an event. Oh, I hope the fat gay guy doesn't win the bidding. If he was really in a bachelor auction, you'd probably do it by the pound. What do you think?
Right?
Look, we'll get the best value for you girls. We'll get you a good price on this hunk of meat. Day 5.
Day 5.
It's got to end sometime.
Did I mention earlier that I thought we were going to get to day 7? I went for a full week.
But as you know, schools aren't open at the weekend.
That's true.
I really thought I didn't have to tell you that, given your job. Did you write this movie?
I meant 7 school days.
What, so it would end on a Tuesday? That's weird.
Yeah. That doesn't make sense for this movie?
Well, that's true. Oh.
Did he just try to lift your skirt up? Jesus.
Well, Dolph Lundgren is their teacher.
That's a great idea because it's going to be a clue to what I need.
Does it have anything to do with a flash drive? This is the part of the movie where I wanted it to turn out that they were like child vampires, and they would just devour him. I feel like that'd be a good turn in the storyline.
Oh, you couldn't see that coming, Bellamy?
What? Not even a who is this?
Right? I'm probably going to try to murder all of them because
Right.
I want to date your girlfriend.
Right. I'm gonna Scorpio these kids.
Stole the surveillance ban.
With that predator who claims he teaches computers.
Right?
Uber came faster. There's a commercial for Uber in the middle of all this. Uber, we outrun emergency vehicles. Unlike you, I care about children.
Except for the children we sent away. And we tried to cover with a single line of, they're safe, they're on a field trip.
That's right. They're on a field trip for a man who's been established in the screenplay as a predator. I was looking at those sculptures there for some sort of symbolic meaning. There was none. It was just a fish. Right? I was like, this must mean something, but you just must relate to what's going on. No, it's just a fish and a miner. Everybody bunch up. A little closer, everyone. Mm. Bill, getting real close now.
Just give us a minute. I'm going to tell you all the lies I've been telling you in a moment.
Yeah.
You probably would have put it underneath the guinea pig. Because he's a genius.
Which means the killer is Steve. Okay, I'll buy you went to law school, but you have not heard of acrostic poems.
Right?
How late is the school day? Damn it, I missed it again. I'd love it if it spelt out flash drive and they're just back to square one. So, oh, we already know it's a flash drive. Does that say time cop?
And somebody just let the Russian in.
That's the most porous school in history.
What happened to that lockdown?
It's no match for two oafish male predators. Do you think Time Cap was Dolph Lundgren's like rival franchise to Time Cop?
Time Cop. That was a good one, I say.
Can't disagree with any of that. So good.
That guy really doesn't want her using her pencil.
Oh, what time does the day end? Okay, 1:40.
Of course, kill the black guy.
Remember, it's the last time we can do any of this racist, homophobic, sexist shit, guys. I saw a hashtag last night that really scared me.
That really put the fear of God into me.
And while we're at it, everyone get a little closer.
I like that they're hashing this out in front of the.
And by the way, you're really an FBI headquarters, which is also this school.
Yeah.
And equally easy to break into.
Oh, she probably just killed that guy.
Yeah. Liberal principle turns
He just
into
left
a
her alone
bat-wielding
with
psycho.
a dangerous man.
All liberals are essentially blood hungry underneath.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting.
That felt good.
I haven't experienced life because I care about other people. So that what? So that what? I don't know. He just wandered
Are
off.
the kids going to foil the crime?
Remember that? Remember that time the one time I told you about Odysseus?
Yeah. I also like that he told Cowboy to be brave when Cowboy looked like a stone cold killer right there. Like,
yeah.
He looked like the calmest person out of everyone.
Right.
They put 3 things in the time capsule.
What were the other 2 things? Was a pair of scissors in there?
It looked like a yeah, like one of those sort of foldy do it everything kind of tools, and a candy bar.
They're never going to have that in the future. Was it a non-Twix candy bar in there?
Yeah, it looked like it.
Oh, that's why they cut away so quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, I was wrong.
It.
The fish are symbolic of bad writing. I will let you eat your Twix. Who are you saying Americans about?
Yeah, right?
Clearly not the man in front of you, who could not be less American.
Oh, she had little Twix too.
Well, isn't there something about sharing it? And that part of the
he knew what the kids were going to do.
He just needed the Twix to buy him time. Yeah. Twix, buy yourself some time.
I like that it's like he gave them a code that would endanger all of their lives.
He's just turned the children into his own private army. It's pure exploitation.
Oh, how?
Jesus,
Oh, it's the best day of Hal's life.
how many secret psychopaths are there at the school?
Right?
Everyone has got like a murderous energy that's just below the surface.
Don't waste all the bullets. Shooting that tree.
Here we go. Now we know why this character needed to be such a big man, because he's gonna have a fight with Dolph Lundgren. Because when you think about it, there's no reason why it has to be that big.
Mm-hmm.
I say fight, standing around in the woods, really. Here we go. Let's stand around in the water now.
Yeah. Nobody looks for the gun.
It's not that far away from like a Netflix Steven Seagal type fight.
Yeah.
Those ones where
I'll
he's
tell you what I'm going to give this movie, though.
What?
Some Foley work on the face punching.
All right. Well, there was also a Wilhelm scream earlier as well.
Nice.
Let's fight without ever moving.
Yeah.
The
Class
Seagal method.
Dismissed. Oh, see, his shirt was untucked. Now it's tucked.
There you go. There we are, criticizing the dialogue in our own movie again. They know that doesn't land.
So what I did was beat him within an inch of his life, right in front of the children.
And then I removed his head, mounted it on one of the sculptures. Izogu an ointment.
How did this extremely dangerous criminal get let out on bail in the first place?
Yay!
You really think the parents would be happy and cheering right now?
Yay! Our kid's kindergarten teacher risked all our kids' lives to save his. Everyone's reunited with their parents. If only I could remember any of these kids.
Good job. That was the gum.
Did you actually see gum there, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a little.
I swear half the
blob.
time he hasn't got any gum and he's just miming it. What is he, just going back into the woods? What is he, fucking Grizzly Adams?
Like, where did he come from?
And he was never seen again.
Your tender lips.
Sounds like an old song, but it's a very new song.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Minnie.
No, you really can't be together, or that crazy criminal would get off free on the technicality
Yeah, right.
if you ever speak to each other again. So, unless, of course, you don't care about putting that man behind bars.
Oh, she's got double pencils. She gonna stab him?
What a great ending that would be. Turns out she's Katya's sister.
Mr. Reed, not appropriate.
Ooh la la. Anyone else got a callback? Any more callbacks? Last call for callbacks. Last call for callbacks. We got the ABC song. And we got the pig.
Pig. Oh, I like that they're going to do all the kids first, like they had anything to do with this story.
They put their names up as if we're supposed to know what that means.
We're introduced to
Hannah.
the kids,
Okay.
and then immediately they keep taking a back seat in every scene.
Right. And the pig who played the biggest part of all. And the other pig.
Meet you, Mikey. Now, did you do a credit check? Is there something we should be checking while we're watching this?
Not really. I mean, that was the most interesting credit there. But,
all right.
But feel free to look out for... I dropped the flash drive rather appropriately. We knew about Michael Jackson in 2016, right?
Oh, we did.
So why would they ever think of putting a Jackson 5 song in here?
Well, Kindergarten Cop 2 is Kindergarten Cop 2.
It's so funny to me that this song is like calculated to sound like it's older than it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like from a modern band to just a blues band. And that says it all about this movie. It's like we can't fork out for the things you need to make this movie. like 2 separate buildings.
Yeah.
FBI headquarters and the school have to be the same building. Well, what did you think?
Well, yeah, not better than the original.
Okay.
Oh, a little fan note.
Yeah.
Not for this movie, but for the original. The mall at the beginning of the first movie, I worked at that mall.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some Canadian saying the same thing about this movie.
Right. I Want Candy, ABC.
You know that classic blues song by Merced Blue Notes?
Your Tender Lips, twice in this movie.
The
It's listed
Phantom
twice.
Blues Band.
Yeah.
Shot entirely on location in Vancouver, British Columbia. There's an unnecessary credit.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, it looks like it sat on the shelf for a year too. Copyright 2015.
Maybe they were holding out for Arnie. You know what's funny? What just seeing the poster come up. If you look at the digital version of the poster, which I assume is the cover of the DVD.
Yeah.
It has a sticker on it that says "All New Movie." They're really setting the bar low, isn't it?
I'll say.
There is literally this is all.
Also, not false advertising.
No, it is. It's well, it kind of is because it's not all new. That's yeah. So there we go.
Wow.
I mean, I remember when we did the Tremors series. I think
Yeah.
I speculated and said, you know, have we just got video sequels wrong? Are they all this good and we just don't watch them and so we don't know? This would
suggest not.
This is a good control experiment for that, right? This feels more like the normal run of what you would get
absolutely
in a video sequel, which makes me wonder, like, what the hell? What was going on with Tremors? Why were those movies so strong compared to this sort of thing?
That's a mystery I'm gonna have to contemplate on.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
well, we're just gonna have to watch more of the
I guess
more video sequels.
But
what do you think? What was yeah, go ahead.
Well, you know, I'm thinking about this movie, and my biggest overall reaction is Dolph Lundgren, not your comedy guy.
No.
You know?
And you know, I'd have more sympathy if he was less smug.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because he's playing it as though he's, you know, Gene Hackman in the Birdcage. Like, you know.
How dare you? How dare you? You would bring Gene Hackman into this.
No.
Well, but because that's the thing, I'm always willing to forget. Like, if you do the comparison to Schwarzenegger, like even when he fucks up the comedy, I'm always willing to forgive it because there's a certain naivete about his performance
but I think it
style.
works in that movie because the guy's a cop.
Right, so, but you know, it's not at least at that point in his career, comedy wasn't a natural go-to for. You always felt he was working.
No, but it's nothing like this.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that I would always, you know, if when Schwarzenegger misses the mark, you forgive it because it's an honest attempt to do comedy that's misfired. But Dolph Lundgren spends this entire movie looking like a man who thinks he's got comedy figured out.
Yeah, it's not an honest attempt.
No.
Yeah.
It's the sort of like, guys, I got this. I know.
Take a seat.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Bill Bellamy, noted stand-up.
Right.
Take note of what I'm doing kind of attitude.
You're going to come in every 22 minutes and give us a line. In between that, I'm going to give the gold.
Bill Bellamy, write some material for the next scene. Do one of your black guy jokes.
Yeah.
About white people and how they stink. Yeah. But it's such a fascinating object to me. Like,
yeah.
Like, why? And I guess, you know, I suppose these things, you can find out these things with a little bit of research, but like, what is the impetus in 2016 to revive this property? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, right. That's the strangest thing. What made someone say, because I'd like to know what happened. I'd like to know if somebody said, hey, Arnie, you want to get back into movies? Let's you're talking about doing another Conan. Why don't we bring back Kindergarten Cop 2? And was that the idea? And he said no? Or was it, hey, I want to do this? And you know who we should get? Dolph Lundgren.
I don't think anyone ever said that or thought that.
Okay.
I'm not like he's a perfect like he's a high class surrogate. I'm not like it's not.
That's the thing about this movie is he's a high class surrogate. You know Bill Bellamy.
Yeah.
The secondary characters are actually, except for the bad guys, are some of the like the best performances in the movie.
Right. Well, but then that's like, it feels like that's their milieu.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? Whereas Lundgren and Bill Bellamy are like, they've been brought in to do a certain kind of performance, whereas these guys are like, we make these kind of movies all the time. You know, we make like 20 a week.
Yeah,
this is how you roll off a scene. But Dolph Lundgren's not taking any of the notes. You know, he's just and
well,
so
that's what I mean.
And
though,
so that yeah, like you say, that Olivia, the actress playing Olivia, is kind of reacting as if Dolph Lundgren is giving a normal performance, in spite of the fact he's not giving a normal performance. Right. So I think that's just professionalism.
She's reacting to his crazy performance.
Right.
You know?
Right. She's just sort of like, she's just
honestly
rolling with the
in
punches.
The moment, which is fairly impressive.
Yeah, I agree.
So I say good on you, Darla Taylor.
Sarah Strange is also very good.
Yeah.
As the principal.
Absolutely. Those are the two I'm thinking of. And even Hal. I mean, Hal's handicapped by a worse written character, but
right. However, their boss is one of the worst actors I've ever seen in a piece of media.
Ever.
I mean,
he doesn't get anything right. He
nails no choices.
Yeah, exactly. He thinks he's being...
It's kind of spectacular in its own way to miss the mark every single time. It's like watching a freak show or something. It's
yeah,
so,
exactly.
It's so misguided.
You know, I think he believes he's
he definitely believes he's something.
Yeah.
Other than what he is. I'll agree with you there. I don't know what it is.
Like, I'm trying to think, like, does he think he's Frank McRae? Does he think he... Yeah. Well, you haven't seen 48 Hours, so how would you know? But
how do you know I haven't seen it since we talked about it?
I know. You can't fool me, liar. Did you watch Blade?
No, I haven't watched Blade yet.
I
will. I fully intend to. But
at any rate, it looks like he's trying to give that performance and thinks he's giving it the comedic flair,
right,
that this movie needs, and it's well, sadly, he's wrong about so many things,
right.
And I really want to know more about that gum bit. Was that his idea?
Yeah, I mean, it would very much surprise me if anyone other than him suggested that piece of business. That doesn't feel like something. That doesn't feel like a director's
idea.
That doesn't feel like a director's piece of business. That feels like an actor's piece of business. You know,
and I just pictured Don Michael Paul after a few takes. Did he have the gum in his hand there?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's like it got out of continuity, and he'd already taken the gum out in one cut, so there was nothing up there the other time. I mean, it's like that performance. If that was a performance of someone who was in a mental institution and was delusional and thought they were a police captain, then that would have been, an Oscar-worthy performance. However, it's not.
I also think it's strange, the henchmen.
Yes.
They were going for henchman comedy in certain points. Like you were going to get to know these guys, and then you just don't get to know them.
Right. And it's not like the movie doesn't have the time to do this.
Because they made us watch an hour and 40 minutes of this.
And
what day did we get to, by the way? Were we at day 4?
Day 5, yeah.
Or day 5? Okay.
Day 5 was the field trip. It was like, it's a, your classic.
So he was there for 1 work week.
Your classic week-long structure. But yeah, the other thing that is just surprised me on both viewings of this, and you said it without me even prompting you, is how little the kids factor into any of it.
Yeah, like
you think once they arrive in the movie,
matter.
You think once they arrive in the movie that the rest of the movie is going to be their movie, and it really isn't.
No, it's not.
Even like
they get 10 minutes on his first day.
Right.
And then they're done.
And yet, there's a good, like I said, there's a good 15-20 minutes of Dolph Lundgren looking through flash drives. So again, this movie has the time to develop.
Right.
But they do something which I don't know why I think of this as something that you would get in video rather than film, but they're just like, okay, we got to flesh out one of these kids. Just one.
Yeah, just.
It's like, I know there are 8 of them, but if we get one, we've done our job. So, they had the thing with the alcoholic father, which is it's just a very...
But then in the end, it seemed like they were saying, hey, don't worry, he's not an alcoholic, he's just out of work.
Well, does Dolph Lundgren says, I don't know, you can call me or something. He offers some kind of support.
No, it's more like, I'm going to find you a job. Don't worry.
Oh, and he did. Because when you see him at the end of the movie in the sculpture garden, he's wearing a suit.
Yeah.
The international symbol of I have a job.
But the funniest part about that was they seemed to add that bit. He's wearing a suit. They cut to Dolph, who's like, look what I did.
What Dolph doesn't know is that he's taken his job.
Yeah.
Because he decided he would make a better
because
FBI
it turns
agent.
out he's not from America and they can't allow him to work.
That'd be an amazing post-credit sequence. Someone in records. Wait a minute. This guy Reed, he's got a Swedish passport.
Oh, mercy. Oh, that's good.
Mm.
Well,
I mean, this is one I've been eyeing for a while. It's such a complicated thing to sort of deal with. It really appealed to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, so
did it
get better or worse on your second watch?
I think it was better the first time round.
Wow. That doesn't say much.
Yeah. The second time round, I really noticed, like that it is a movie about flash drives.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of child adjacent.
Yeah.
But it's like,
I really would like the title to be Kindergarten Cop 2. Where's the flash drive?
Yeah, it felt like the flash drive is like a virus that's sort of taken over the movie almost. Like it's COVID.
Yeah,
it's this movie's COVID.
Yeah,
it's something that the movie it's something that the movie has, but there's too much of it and it gets out of hand and we can't control it. We can't vaccinate against it.
That's great.
Yeah, it's, and again, that I had, but in both viewings, I'm like, who sits down and watches these movies? Do families sit down and watch these movies? And are they satisfied?
Right.
Because there's you could argue it both ways. You could be like, Dad's got his gunfight scene. The kids have got their sculpture garden.
Kids. Yeah.
I don't know what, but I don't, like, I feel like I almost see the appeal more for adult viewers than kid viewers. I don't know what a kid sits down to this and gets.
No, I agree with you completely. I think this movie seems to be more for adults, but I also have the same question that you had for kids. What adult wants to sit down and watch this movie?
Right. I mean, there's
Aside from the
like
two
half a scene,
lunatics looking at each other right now.
There's half a scene of like violent action to,
Yeah,
satisfy those urges.
but it's done in the first 10 minutes.
It's in the first 10 minutes. And then you're looking at the rest of the movie is just IT, except no one's saying the words IT.
Yeah, the rest of the movie is IT and steaks and corn.
And I mean, am I overstating steaks and Twix
and Twix
and flash drives and pigs? Am I overstating how right wing this movie seems?
No, I don't know. Yeah,
I mean that's odd, isn't it, for 2016?
It's odd for this movie to try to mine so much comedy out of owning the libs.
Yeah. That says it perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, is that it? is it? I mean, we're talking 6 years. This movie's 6 years old, and already it feels like no one would ever get away with some of the things that
I
are
suppose
in this
technically it might be 7 years old. Right. It did have that copyright 2015. Which is also telling.
Yeah.
Unless it was made like at the very end of the year.
Could be. Well, it doesn't seem like it took them half a year to make it.
Do you have the it's like you've got
it's like we've booked the Canadian Airbnb with the swimming pool.
Right.
We booked the FBI headquarters / school. We're good to go,
it's
guys.
Funny because like if you have the property, like the name, Kindergarten Cop, and then you have a known actor, as well known as Dolph Lundgren, and they made it in 2015, and they keep showing it to people, and they're like, meh, and like they couldn't sell it for like a year.
Yeah, it's quite possible.
A possibility.
It is a possibility, but I wonder whether it's like. I'm in two minds as whether we think that those kind, and it's impossible to tell without the kind of painstaking research that would make you want to kill yourself if you had to actually sit down and do it. But is it that this stuff still happens in these kinds of video sequels, but they don't have enough exposure for anyone to give a shit?
Yeah.
Or is it that that even in video, even kind of video productions today would look at a movie like this and go, "Oh, all of that is off limits now."
Right.
Like I could see it going both ways. Like I could literally see like,
But like you said, I don't want to do that research.
No, that's it. And no one would, and that's maybe how they're getting away with this shit.
Yeah.
It's like, who the fuck is trying to, cancel Kindergarten Cop 2?
Yeah.
Aside from like, who has even sat down and watched this movie? You
and me, my friend.
Would you watch this back to back with Kindergarten Cop?
You and I. What's that?
Would you watch this back to back with Kindergarten Cop? Do you think that would improve it at all? Is this a Casino Royale Quantum of Solace situation? I suppose you'll answer that question next month.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're throwing out a little hypothesis that
you're already don't even buy the hypothesis.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're not gonna bite.
That will not be. That will not become.
If you say yes, I won't.
That will not
take...
become a theory. I say.
It's not even my theory. It's the theory of James Bonding. But I appreciate and like the sentiment.
We'll see. But what's it say that we're already talking about what we're gonna do next month?
Right. Well, I mean, this movie to me is like right on the precipice of being interesting to talk about as a political object.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like every time, like what they do is so what they do with the idea is so broad and reactionary that it's almost not worth talking about, because it just feels like, you know, it feels like a nation of conservatives priming their mowers, you know, in the battle against wokeness.
Yeah, but that's the part, you know, the kindergarten part, the kindergarten cop part of it is not interesting at all.
So but what's left? The two?
But what I mean is, the part that's interesting about this movie is what you were just talking about. Like, why is this movie anti-woke?
Right. Before that was even a thing. That's another it's like weird caveat.
Anti-woke comedy.
It really is. It's, well, I think you were out of the room, but I said, you know, it's like a pre-backlash.
Yeah, right.
Against something that, I mean, sure, you know, the stereotype, I guess it's just the stereotype of general sort of mollycoddling, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't found that terminology of wokeness and non-binary, but that's what it is. I mean, that's, you know, diversity, non-binary, wokeness. That is what this movie is rallying against. But it doesn't know that is going to dominate the culture for the next, you know, over the next 6 years in the way it has.
Well, and the funny part is they don't even make enough hay out of it, because your lead character is kind of the one leading that charge against the wokeness.
Yeah.
But then he discovers that there's another way.
Yeah.
But it's not laid out like he learned a lesson.
No, and he makes others like him. Right. That's
right.
You know, he turns the most liberal people in the movie into murderers.
Right.
At his behest. So what's the message there? Where's the growth there?
What's the principal say? That was fun? Or
that was a rush, I think.
That was a rush.
That was such a rush. So yeah.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah, there you have it. I think that's all you could possibly say about a movie like this. All anyone has ever said.
Well, we've certainly said more about it than anybody else ever will.
I think we're going to be one of the Wikipedia references for this movie. Just statistically, we've said more about this than any news article or review has ever done.
You know, some of the movies I've been watching lately for one of the, you know, podcasts, and you get to the end of the IMDb trivia, and I can't remember the name of the podcast, but it'll say something like, this podcast gave it 1 recommends and 2 doesn't recommend, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if we'll have something like that on a Wikipedia. You know, the Everything Sequel podcast said more words about Kindergarten Cop 2 than any 5 critics put together combined.
One of these hosts did not like the underwater scenes in this movie.
Oh, mercy.
Yeah.
Well, anything left for you?
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
It it feels like a much slimmer movie than it in fact is.
Yeah.
Partly because so much of it is, where's the flash drive? Let me look through these flash drives.
Right. I love that you get 2 separate characters. You get both Lundgren and Bellamy going.
Yeah. In what seems like real time.
Yeah.
Everything in this movie feels like it's happening in real time.
Right. Yes.
Which I don't think that, I know it's an Imagine Entertainment production, but I don't think they were going for 24.
No. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
No, really.
I mean,
thank you. If you stuck around this long,
if you're still here,
then either
we're gonna
you,
send you a Twix bar.
I'm gonna send you this Twix bar,
There you go.
which is partially melted onto a microphone.
All right.
So it's kind of also a trophy at this point.
Well, you'll have to let us you'll have to let us know what you think of Kindergarten Cop 2, by all means.
Send it, record your thoughts via flash drive and put it in the mail to us.
Yeah, send it in the mail. Yeah, no Facebook, no Instagram, no Twitter. Do not send an email to everythingsequel@gmail.com. Let your thoughts be known on a flash drive and send it to us directly.
Do you think it was like do you think in 2016, I'm trying to remember where we were technologically then. Do you think that they were banking on this being the future? Like it would be like the tricorders in Star Trek. It's like, we
already had downloading it. You know what I mean? We weren't dependent on flash drives.
Because if you watch Star Trek, they think the future is like we're just gonna hand these like Kindles to each other every time we want anyone to do anything. So is it they think that we would like, hey, look what's on, you can come
and people would have, like beepers, like or when you had your cell phone in a holster in your pocket, like people would all have like a bandolera belt.
I still see a lot of that in Chula Vista, so that's I don't think my particular neighborhood has moved beyond that very much.
Very good then. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Kindergarten Cop 2, our watch along for this month. Next month, as we have already let that cat out of the bag, it's Quantum of Solace.
Oh, time. They knew. That was on record.
Fantastic.
Quantum of Solace, which will be a quantum of solace for at least one of us.
All right. Until next time, say goodbye, Tom.
Rule 101, no talking while you tinkle. That's not how he says it, but I wanted to do it in a way that I would never choose to do it, just to illustrate, that performance. Yeah.
All right. For Tom Stewart of Lonesome Whistle Productions, Michael Shantz here of the How Dare You Awards. We'll be back for another, not watch along, talk along. We'll be talking about Quantum.
We'll be talking. Well, and then in another month, in 2 months, we'll be doing another watch along.
Indeed, we will.
And everything's already in the pipeline.
I love it when you already have a plan. You're like Hannibal from the A-Team.
That's right. Me and my elephants.
All right.
Oh, wrong Hannibal. Sorry.
Thank you again for sticking with us.